Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today we will lose ourselves in The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell. The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell is a classic short story published in 1924. It blends elements of adventure, suspense, and philosophical inquiry, ultimately exploring the darker sides of human nature and survival. The story centers on a skilled hunter named Sanger Rainsford, who becomes the hunted on a remote island controlled by General Zaroff, a man with a twisted passion for hunting human beings as game. This tale is often regarded as one of the most gripping pieces of American adventure fiction, delving into the primal instincts of both predator and prey. Plot summary. The night was thick and suffocating, a velvet blanket of darkness covering the Caribbean as the yacht sped toward Rio. Sanger Rainsford reclined on the deck, enjoying the tranquility of the sea and the conversation with his friend Whitney. They spoke of hunting, Rainsford's passion, discussing the thrill of pursuing wild beasts. But when Whitney suggested that the animals might not share that joy, Rainsford dismissed the idea. To him, the world was divided into two classes, hunters and the hunted. As the yacht cut through the black waters, Rainsford heard something, 3 gunshots echoing in the distance. Intrigued, he peered into the void but saw nothing. Leaning further over the rail to catch a better glimpse, he lost his balance and plunged into the sea. The yacht sailed on, unaware of his fall. Alone in the dark waters, Rainsford swam toward the source of the gunshots, his only hope of survival. After hours of swimming, he finally reached land, an island covered in dense jungle. Exhausted, he collapsed into sleep. When he awoke, hunger gnawed at him, but his instincts as a hunter quickly kicked in. He discovered signs of a hunt, bloodstains on the ground, and a spent cartridge. His curiosity deepened when he found boot prints leading inland. Following the trail, he came upon an enormous chateau, a fortress-like mansion rising out of the wilderness. When he knocked on the door, a towering man with a revolver opened it, silent and menacing. Before Rainsford could speak, a second man, slender and refined, appeared and welcomed him warmly. This was General Zaroff, the owner of the island. Zaroff, recognizing Rainsford as a famous hunter, invited him in and treated him to a lavish dinner. As they dined in the grand hall, surrounded by mounted heads of animals from across the world, Zaroff revealed his extraordinary passion for hunting. Yet there was a strange gleam in his eye, a hint of something darker beneath his genteel exterior. When Rainsford praised the general's collection, Zaroff smiled and told him that he had grown bored of hunting mere animals. The thrill was gone. He had found a new quarry, something more dangerous and challenging. Rainsford's unease grew as Zaroff explained that he now hunted the most dangerous game of all, human beings. He described how he lured shipwrecked sailors to the island, giving them food, weapons, and a head start before hunting them down in the jungle. The thrill of pitting his wits against another man's intellect, Zaroff claimed, was unparalleled. Horrified, Rainsford denounced Zaroff's sport as murder, but the general only laughed, amused by Rainsford's moral objections. Zaroff offered him a choice: become the hunted or face certain death at the hands of Ivan, his brutal servant. Left with no alternative, Rainsford reluctantly agreed to play the deadly game. Zaroff gave Rainsford a knife, some food, and a 3-hour head start. As dusk approached, Rainsford fled into the jungle, his mind racing to devise a plan. He used his experience as a hunter to lay a false trail, hoping to confuse Zaroff. But as night fell, he could feel the general closing in on him, the weight of being hunted pressing down on his every thought. The next day, Zaroff followed Rainsford's trail with ease, smiling at his quarry's efforts. He toyed with Rainsford, letting him live another day, savoring the thrill of the chase. Desperate, Rainsford set a series of traps. The first, a Malay mancatcher, injured Zaroff but did not stop him. The second, a Burmese tiger pit, claimed one of Zaroff's best hunting dogs but not the general himself. The hunt continued, and Rainsford felt the suffocating grip of fear tightening around him. As the hounds grew closer, Rainsford made a final, desperate move. Using a springy sapling, he rigged a knife trap aimed at Zaroff's servant Ivan, who was leading the dogs. The trap worked, killing Ivan and momentarily slowing the pursuit. But the hounds, still on Rainsford's scent, drove him to the edge of the island. Trapped between the baying dogs and the cliffs that plunged into the sea, Rainsford leaped into the water. Zaroff, believing his prey had perished in the sea, returned to his chateau, disappointed that the hunt had ended prematurely. That evening, he dined alone, sipping his wine and reflecting on the loss of his servant and his quarry. After dinner, he retired to his bedroom, still contemplating how he would replace Ivan. As he prepared for bed, Zaroff felt a strange sensation, a presence in the room. From behind the curtains, Rainsford emerged. The general was momentarily stunned but quickly recovered, admiring Rainsford's resourcefulness. With a smile, Zaroff congratulated him on winning the game. But Rainsford had no intention of letting the general off so easily. He declared that he was still a beast at bay, and the two men prepared for a final confrontation. That night, Rainsford slept in Zaroff's bed, the victor of the most dangerous game. This was just one story. Richard Connell has plenty more for you to discover. Check them out in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Richard Connell's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.